ਤੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਇਸ ਹਿੱਸੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਈਅਰ ਐਂਡ ਇੰਟਰਵਿਊਜ਼ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਅਤੇ ਇਸੇ ਸਿਲਸਿਲੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਲੀਡਰ ਆਫ ਦੀ ਅਫੀਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਆਪੋਜੀਸ਼ਨ ਸਾਡੇ ਹਾਊਸ ਆਫ ਕਾਮਨਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਤੇ ਲੀਡਰ ਆਫ ਦੀ ਕੰਜ਼ਰਵੇਟਿਵ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਆਫ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਆਨਰੇਬਲ ਪੀਅਰ ਪੋਇਲੀਐਵ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਹ ਟੈਲੀਫੋਨ ਲਾਈਨ 'ਤੇ ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਸ਼ਾਮਲ ਨੇ। ਪੀਅਰ ਪੋਇਲੀਐਵ ਜੀ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਲੰਬੇ ਅਰਸੇ ਤੋਂ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਸੰਸਦ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਰਿਪਰੈਜ਼ੈਂਟ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਉੱਥੇ ਹੁਣ ਉਹ ਜਦੋਂ ਦੇ ਲੀਡਰ ਬਣੇ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਲਿਬਰਲ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਕਾਫੀ ਭਾਜੜਾਂ ਪਵਾਈਆਂ ਹੋਈਆਂ ਨੇ। ਪੀਅਰ ਪੋਇਲੀਐਵ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਟੈਲੀਫੋਨ ਲਾਈਨ 'ਤੇ। ਪੀਅਰ, ਵੈਰੀ ਗੁੱਡ ਮਾਰਨਿੰਗ, ਵੈਲਕਮ ਸਰ।
Good morning to you. Thanks for having me. Sat Sri Akal.
Sat Sri Akal. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us and giving us time. Thank you.
Thank you very much again, and happy holidays to all of your listeners.
Thank you. And Canadians are facing tough economic times, Pierre. The integrity of our immigration system is under a question mark. There is an acute shortage of affordable housing. And a Bloomberg report says housing starts in Canada are down by 22% in November this year. How do you look at the steps taken by the government?
Justin Trudeau has doubled the rent and doubled mortgage payments. He's given us the worst housing bubble of any country in the OECD. Toronto is now the worst housing market in the world, according to UBS Bank. Vancouver, the third worst in the world. Housing costs are 25 to 45% more expensive in Canada than they are in the United States after 8 years of Justin Trudeau. 8 years ago, you could own a single detached home in Canada with monthly payments equal to 39% of the average family income. That has now risen to 66%. This is a new problem that did not exist before Justin Trudeau. It does not exist anywhere else in the developed world other than possibly Australia. And it won't exist after Trudeau is gone. So my common sense plan is to speed up and lower the cost of building new homes. I'll require cities permit 15% more home building as a condition of getting federal funds. I'll require every federally funded transit station be permitted for high-density apartments all around so youth and seniors can live next to the bus or train. I'll sell off 6,000 federal buildings, thousands of acres of federal land, so that we can build. I'll make sure the immigrants who come, we bring in more tradespeople as immigrants to work building the homes that we need. This is a common-sense plan that will make housing affordable the way it was 8 years ago when I was housing minister.
Mm-hmm. And how will you bring Canada out of the economic crisis that we are passing through right now?
Yes, you're right. Trudeau has given us yet another economic crisis of rising costs and a shrinking economy. Our economy is now smaller than it was per person 5 years ago. We have the worst per capita GDP growth in the G7. And the worst housing bubble. So how do we reverse the misery Trudeau has caused? My common sense plan is to bring home lower prices by axing the carbon tax to lower your gas, heat, and grocery bills, and ending the inflationary deficits to lower interest rates. This is something that Jasraj Halan, my shadow minister of finance, has been working on in committee. We're also going to bring home powerful paychecks with lower income taxes that reward hard work, and with a new Blue Seal exams allowing immigrant professionals to take a test, prove they're qualified, and get to work as doctors, nurses, engineers, and architects. And of course, we're going to cut red tape and taxes for builders so that they can bring homes we can afford. This is something that came to me from my common sense finance shadow minister, Jasraj Halan, who was a home builder himself before he got into politics.
Mm-hmm. And our immigration system is in doldrums. What is the solution?
Common sense is the solution. Trudeau has ruined our immigration system. After 8 years, we have chaos in the system. We have families divided. Where employers can't bring needed workers. And the ones who do come in live in tents and under bridges because they have no homes. often ripped off by shady consultants and phony colleges. My common sense plan would eliminate the fraud in the student visa program to make sure that every single college that brings students is a real college that has a real place to offer a real training certificate, that every student has a home before they are admitted. They have to show that they can find a place to live, that the numbers for the student program will be based on how many housing units that the universities and provinces make available. There's no housing. They can't have international students. So they'll be living on the street. And then we're going to link the number of newcomers to the number of homes that get built so that people can find a place to live, and we can restore the proud, common sense immigration system that brought so many wonderful people here to our country.
Mm-hmm. Alberta has many complaints against Ottawa, and the UCP government is planning to come out of the Canada Pension Plan to have its own Alberta Pension Plan. What do you have to say on it?
I hope that Albertans stay in the Canada Pension Plan. I understand why Albertans are angry, as Justin Trudeau has attacked the energy sector. He's trying to shut down oil and gas. With the help, by the way, George Chahal has totally betrayed Albertans. He's voted with Justin Trudeau to shut down oil and gas, to destroy the industry that employs his own constituents. A common sense conservative government will allow our oil and gas sector to grow greener, get increased production, and then invest the resulting proceeds into a greener and cleaner industry so that we have the greenest and cleanest oil and gas sector anywhere on planet Earth. That'll mean powerful paychecks for Albertans. I grew up in Calgary. I know how important this sector is to our people. And when I'm Prime Minister, I will end Trudeau and Chahal's attacks on the workers who build that industry.
Mm-hmm. Pierre, you have been calling for an end to safe drug policies and more cash for treatment. But deaths are rising because of the unregulated drugs and not the safer supply. How do you address this issue?
Well, I don't believe the safe supply terminology is false. In Vancouver, they've had this policy now for 12 years, and it's caused the worst drug crisis anywhere in Canada. So they've been giving out these tax-funded opioids in the downtown east side of Vancouver ever since Trudeau took office. He's now decriminalizing dirty and contaminated drugs like crack, heroin, contaminated fentanyl. And as a result, under Trudeau's leadership, we've seen a 200% increase in drug overdose deaths. My common sense plan bans hard drugs, brings in treatment, not tax-funded opioids, so that people can go into a treatment center, get detox, get into an exercise and yoga routine, have counseling, group therapy, sweat lodges for First Nations, and after they graduate from that program, live in attached transition apartments so that they can come back a couple of times a week for a counseling session, a workout, or to even mentor an incoming addict. This is the common sense plan that will bring our loved ones home drug-free.
Mm-hmm. Recent reports have suggested foreign interference in your party's leadership race, and you have been very critical of Chinese interference in Canadian issues. Now we are hearing Indian interference. So how do you look at it, and what do you have to say on it?
Well, interference by any government, India, China, or any other country in the world, is unacceptable. And that's why I have a common sense plan to stop it. It's called a Foreign Influence Registry that would require anyone who does work to manipulate our democracy on behalf of a foreign government to register and have their names identified online. That's what the Americans have done, and that's how they've exposed interference. And that's what I would do. As I don't know why. What does Justin Trudeau have to hide? Why has he not brought this in? He said he would do it. last spring. He still hasn't done it. And so he's allowing foreign agents from numerous countries to operate with impunity on Canadian soil. And he's proven himself incapable of protecting our people.
Mm-hmm. And why did you vote against C-57, the bill to implement a new free trade agreement between Canada and Ukraine?
That is, we already have a free trade agreement with Ukraine. This would just replace it with a worse agreement that adds a carbon tax. Strangely, for the first time in the history of trade, Trudeau has put a carbon tax into a trade agreement. He says Canada would have to promote carbon pricing under the updated agreement. I am against carbon tax. I will axe the tax. And keep in mind, Trudeau and Chahal want to quadruple the carbon tax to raise your gas, heat, and grocery bills. Imagine the seniors in places like Forest Lawn and Calgary who will be choosing between eating and heating when Chahal and Trudeau quadruple the carbon tax. They want to raise it 61 cents a liter. I will axe the tax, and I'm not going to sign on trade agreements that include carbon taxes.
Mm-hmm. And I know you have to go by now, but what is your final message for our listeners today?
I want to conclude on a happy note. Common sense conservatives are working to bring about a direct flight from Vancouver or Toronto to the Punjabi destination of Amritsar. So if you want to visit Punjab, visit your family, the Golden Temple, your business there, you'll get a direct flight to Amritsar. Trudeau has been unable to do this after 8 years, while Singapore, Malaysia, India, Italy, UK, Uzbekistan, UAE all have direct flights to Amritsar, but somehow not Canada. We have the biggest expatriate Punjabi population in the world and no direct flight. Well, that's because Justin Trudeau signed on to an open sky agreement with India that did not include a direct flight to Amritsar. I would have required Amritsar be on the list of destinations, and I am already working with Jasraj Halan and Tim Uppal and other great conservatives to bring about that common sense solution.
Thank you, Pierre, for joining us and sharing your views with us. We, on behalf of my listeners, my management, myself, we wish you happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Thank you very much. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas to anyone who might be celebrating, who's listening in today, and many blessings to your listeners. And I look forward to seeing you back in my hometown of Calgary very soon.
Thank you very much, sir. Have a nice day.
Okay, bye.